Hello, Tiger fans. Welcome to a new week, a new edition of Inside CU Sports here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you here in the studios as we take a look around Tiger athletics. We start with the Lady Tiger basketball team, victorious this past weekend. And a pair of matchups, Thomas More on Thursday, Georgetown on Saturday. Now 27-2 on the season. They'll wrap up the year this coming week, and no worse than a tie in the Mid-South Conference regular season, Coach, as Coach Ginger High-Colvin joins us. And that's a nice thing to have back-to-back years, no worse than a share, but I know you want it outright. We'll get to that later on. Right. This weekend was big. We'll start with the Thomas More and Georgetown weekend, a nice couple of wins.
That's a huge one. Thomas More obviously is new to our league and probably one of the best teams in our league. I think we've got 4 teams, maybe 5, that could compete for a conference championship in our tournament. Looking back over the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know that we've been able to say that. I think probably in the back of our minds we knew there was 2, maybe 3 teams that had a chance, and I think we legitimately have those 4 teams, and Thomas More is definitely one of them. Very well coached, traditional, and just a good fan base. Can't say enough good things about them.
Yeah. Before we look at Georgetown on Saturday, let's talk about Thomas More a little bit up there. It was an amazing contest here. More of the same, a little back and forth. You kind of held them at bay throughout the game, a little more so than what it felt like at their place, which maybe that's to be expected, being on the road versus being at home. But it was senior night, emotional time. Madison Faulkner goes out, pours in, I think, 28 points. Savannah Gregory had a great night, a double-double for Sav. So you had a lot of young ladies involved in that effort over Thomas More.
And you know, that's the thing. We go up there at their place, and it's just an outright battle. And there was a point in the game, I think in the third at their place, we had 2 threes. We had a 3, missed it, came back, got the offensive rebound, missed another one. I think we could have blown it open a little bit, but they're just not a type of team to go away. And I saw then that they were going to fight. And then when you get here, it is emotional. We try to bump our senior activities to halftime of the men's game and kind of put them under wraps, just because girls are very, very emotional, and that we want to celebrate it, but not right before a game. And but just to come out and, like you say, we kind of held them at bay, but it was never a comfortable time.
Yeah, Campbellsville pulls off the win over Thomas More. You get the quick turnaround, the trip to Georgetown, and it doesn't matter what Georgetown's record is. It doesn't matter what your record is. Anytime those 2 teams get together, that rivalry aspect, you kind of throw it out the window, and you know anything can happen. You didn't start as hot as you did here. You had them down 32-5 in the first meeting here at home. It was a little bit more of a back and forth, but by the time you got to halftime, it was virtually the same score. You had a 20-point lead or so, and you were able to hold them off throughout the game.
We were. The first quarter, they came out and hit some shots. We didn't trust our offense early, and that's the one thing after the quarter that I kind of talked to the kids about, is we just came out and really didn't trust what we were doing and what's gotten us to where we were. We settled in a little bit, and that second quarter, like you said, I think we went up 17-20 something at the half, and then the third quarter was huge, 30-some points in that third, and we just rolled after that.
As we take a look at some of the numbers from that win over Georgetown this past Saturday at the Davis Reed Alumni Gymnasium in Georgetown, the Lady Tigers were led by Madison Faulkner, a new career high, 31 points for Faulkner, 13 of 21 from the floor. Very efficient game for the senior. Savannah Gregory with another double-double. She posted 2 this week, 21 points, 11 boards, 7 steals for Sav, and then no points even listed for Caitlin Hall there. She had a handful, but 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, as she was able to contribute across the board. 89-47, the win there for Campbellsville. And Madison Faulkner coach Savannah Gregory. Those are 2 young ladies that you rely on heavily for their offense. And still a long way to go. You hope still maybe 10 games or so left. I think if you do the math, I guess 9 would be the max that you could have left. So we're certainly rooting for that. But they may be playing their best basketball here together at the same time, and that can be scary for others.
That's what you want, is at this time of the season for your team to play well, for everybody to play well, and have things figured out. And but they're, as offensively goes, they're playing extremely well. We need Madison Faulkner to rebound, and crazy enough, Savannah is our best one out there. She crashes the boards and keeps so many things alive, but we need those 2 definitely. And it's fun to watch them play when they're playing that well.
And Lexi Lake hit threes against Thomas More, not as prominent in terms of the offense on Saturday, and you get other Lady Tigers to step up here and there, and I guess that may be the thing that makes you so dangerous. Anytime Madison or Savannah can get going, it can be a Kaylin Hall, a Sammy Rogers, a Lexi Lake, one or two more that you can sprinkle in, and it makes it very difficult.
Oh, for sure. And then, the unsung hero, and we talk about it all the time, is Courtney Pritchett. And Lexi, if she gets those open shots, she's going to tend to knock those down. Savannah's starting to shoot it extremely well. Sammy's just been an assassin this year. She's just come in and slowly picked people apart. And she's just played, I think, her best basketball of her career for us this season as well. I think you called that at the beginning of the season. And but then I think the two kids that don't have the stat line, three basically that don't have the stat line are Shyla Calvert, Caitlin Hall, and Courtney Pritchett. Those are the ones that make the machine run.
Yeah, those three Lady Tigers certainly invaluable to what they do as a team. We'll step away, take a timeout here, come back. We'll talk about Shyla Calvert. She's nursing the injury. We'll also look, the Lady Tigers had a Player of the Week award honor. We'll touch on that, and also match up with Cumberland's coming this weekend to wrap up the regular season. All that still to come here with the head coach of Lady Tiger basketball, Ginger High Colvin. Stay with us here on Inside CU Sports.
Central Kentucky's newest music venue is right around the corner. Located in Summersville, Kentucky, Green River Live is bringing you the artists you love in their new 1,000-seat venue. Shows every Saturday night featuring the Heart of Kentucky band, Green River Live's very own house band, made up of current and former touring musicians. Drop by the GRL Grill or our indoor concession area and pick up your very own Green River Live merchandise. Green River Live on the web at greenriverlive.com.
Welcome back, Tiger fans. Inside CU Sports continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton visiting with the head coach of Lady Tiger basketball, Ginger High Colvin. And we touched on the wins over Thomas More and Georgetown. That led Campbellsville Savannah Gregory to an NCCAA National Player of the Week award honor this week. Sav coach finishes averaging nearly 20 points per ball game, 19.5 to go with 10.5 rebounds, 4.5 steals per game. She was nothing short of spectacular. Gets that NCCAA National Player of the Week honor, and averaging a double-double, that's tough to do, but she certainly earned them, chasing down a lot of those rebounds. Very active on the defensive end this week as well.
She's the Energizer Bunny. She never stops. When I go back and watch game film, it is amazing the energy level that she brings for the amount of time that she plays. If you played her 40 minutes, she could go that strong, but she's been so big for us and playing so well for us, shooting it a lot better, and she's just so important to our success.
We talked about in that win over Thomas More, she had the series where she blocked the shot, grabbed it, went down, got the layup, come back. By the time the ball got to half court, she had another deflection to knock it out of bounds, I think. I mean, those are the types of things that we've grown accustomed to, and I can't imagine being on the other sideline trying to prepare for her. You just wonder, will you slow down for just 5 seconds,
I know.
She won't do it.
People probably think she would wear down, or she just doesn't. She's just wired that way, and I'm glad she is. She's so long, so quick, and we've talked several times. She was hampered with injuries probably the entire first semester, and she's just starting to get really healthy now, and it shows.
Really healthy, and she's averaging in her last 9 games about 19, a little over 19, I think 19.2 points a game. So she's feeling good, the shot's feeling good, and she's certainly making the most of it here in the redshirt junior season. And another junior we want to touch on, Shyla Calvert, bust up the shoulder a little bit against Thomas More. That was kind of a scary moment. I think in hindsight, some of the news, fairly good news, and it doesn't appear to be season ending. Certainly a shot at getting her back.
For sure. We're happy about that. If it had to happen, the timing of it couldn't have been more perfect. She has torn meniscus that she's chosen to play with this year, and she had to have another cortisone shot before conference, before nationals. The only time frame we could figure out was the Friday after Thomas More. So we'd already planned to sit her Saturday at Georgetown, give her 3 to 4 days this week, and give her time to recover. So that's allowing her knee to recover. It's allowing her shoulder to recover. Josh is already rehabbing her, getting her back. She has really good range of motion in it, some soreness obviously, but it's something that she did her freshman year as well, so she's used to it, sadly. But I feel certain she's one of the toughest kids we have physically, So I have no doubts that she won't get herself back.
And she'll miss 2 games over the course of 2.5 weeks or so. So like you mentioned, the time frame really, if it was going to happen, happened at a perfect time for Shyla and the Lady Tigers. And Coach, now you move in. It's crazy to think the regular season finale is upon us. Saturday, you make the trip down to Cumberland's and Williamsburg, and it's a Williamsburg team that really gave you some problems here, but you were able to pull out the victory over the Patriots, and they've got 2 big posts. They're fighting for a spot in the national tournament. Certainly, it's not a team I would want to play if I got to Billings, Montana. They can certainly give some teams problems, but it's a big one for you guys. You've got an outright championship on the line Saturday.
Everything it's a huge one because we want to go down and we want to win it outright, and they're clawing and scraping and trying to get into the tournament, and so it's big for them. And they know if they can knock Lindsay's going in Thursday as well. They know that if they can knock Lindsay off or knock us off, that they've got that chance. And so I'm sure they're preparing, and sure they'll be ready to roll on Saturday. It'll be their senior day, and they're, like we talked, emotional time, and they're a really hard matchup for us. They've got great size inside. Really good shooters on their wings, and their point guard's quick, does a good job. So, but the beauty of it is we have a week to prepare, and we will be prepared when we roll in there on Saturday.
Yeah, for Cumberland's, you talked about the matchup with Lindsay, a top 15 team. You guys could move up a little bit this week. We'll see what shakes out in the national poll. You may slide up to second. I think at worst you stay put at number 3, but that's a top 5 win that they could potentially get. So either one of those certainly makes that resume look better. Maybe for you guys, just for them to knock off Lindsay on Thursday. Maybe not quite as hungry on senior day for Saturday. But you talked about the Covani sisters, big inside, and then Sylvia Veloso, the point guard, is dynamic as well. So Coach Reeves able to bring in some transfers that really kind of flipped his team on its head.
Absolutely, they immediately made an impact, and the Cavani sisters have played well, and they play well together. And we know that by having sisters on our team. They just know what one another's doing. Both are very mobile to have the size that they have, and then their point guard Veloso, she's come in, and they're all from the same area. Probably have played together for a long time. And then he's got some veterans, not for him, from veterans for that program that are coming in and doing a good job. So yeah, I can imagine how hungry they are. Lindsay being our travel partner this year has helped us. Because that's 2 totally different styles to prepare for, and 2 really good teams. And I tell John all the time, I feel like this is one of his best, if not his best, Lindsey Wilson team. So they've got to spend a lot of time preparing on Thursday as well. And we talked about rankings. I think John will stay put around the area that he's at. There was he had a loss. There was a loss above him, so I don't anticipate there being much movement there either. So he should stay top 15.
Exciting weekend coming up here as we head down the stretch. Mid-South Conference wrapping up, national, the NAI across the nation actually wrapping up. Conference tournaments beginning next week. So this is an important weekend to scoreboard watch and do all those fun things. The Lady Tigers and Cumberland's coming your way on Saturday, 2 p.m. The tip time for that one for Campbellsville's Lady Tigers. A win gives them the outright Mid-South Conference championship of the regular season. They would also be the number 1 seed, which puts them in a weird conundrum. They'd have to wait to figure out who they would play out of that 8 and 9, which appears at the moment to be Cumberland University and Life University. But we'll focus on all that next week with Ginger Highcalvin. We won't make her look too far ahead. We'll step away, take a quick time out, come back and visit with the head coach of Tiger basketball, Brent Vernon, and the Tigers coming off an upset of number 1 Georgetown. Stay with us here on Inside CU Sports.
A champion doesn't get days off. It takes determination and drive to realize goals. From long nights to early mornings. From the courts to the classrooms to online. At Campbellsville University, this is why we play. This is how we learn. This is where champions are made. Find your calling for a life change at campbellsville.edu.
The biggest buffet in town is at the Winters Dining Hall, located on Campbellsville University's campus. We've got it all, from our main entree lines, pizza, pasta, soup, subzone, and our new Fresh and Fit section. Don't forget about our dessert corner. Winters Dining Hall is open to the public 7 days a week. $7 for lunch, $8 for dinner. Winters Dining Hall at Campbellsville University. Find us at campbellsville.edu/dining hall.
Come find solace at Saloma Baptist, an intergenerational church.
Here, the family of Christ extends far past the walls, and hospitality is held on high.
We are committed in our pursuit of discipling every nation and generation.
For more information on service times, visit salomabaptist.com or call 270-789-0082 and add our Facebook at Saloma Baptist Church.
Saloma Baptist, ministering to the community and to the world in the 21st century.
Thanks for staying with us, Tiger fans. Inside CU Sports continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton turning our attention now to Tiger basketball. Campbellsville goes 1-1 this past weekend, a game at home against Thomas More on senior night that Brent Vernon and the Tigers will quickly forget, and they did quickly forget. They go on the road on Saturday and pick up a win over Georgetown as Coach joins us. And I'm not sure that a team can go through two different emotional types of games and different things as you guys did last week. Senior night, all the emotions there, the things that go with it, family here. And for lack of a better term, you just laid an egg. And then on Saturday, it gets number one. You go up there and, hey, let's just get a win over the top-ranked team in the country.
You know, we talked about we're sort of Jekyll and Hyde team this year, and you know, first half against Thomas More played hard and just couldn't make shots. In the second half, you know, they got going, and it was a big game for us. Our guys knew it, and you know, I think they just really pressed themselves a little too much, and it just sort of spiraled out of control. And you know, the only message you could really give them after the game was you got to have a short memory, move on to the next one because it doesn't get easier. And you go to Georgetown, number one in the nation, and play our tails off for 40 minutes and come away very fortunate with a win.
You know, we're not going to look at that Thomas More game much. We're going to focus our attention on the upset win over number one Georgetown. You played with them at home. It was a 5-point game with a couple minutes left, and then they went on a spurt. Yeah. Those are the spurts that you know a team like that, that's why they're number one. As talented as they are, outscore you down the stretch to pick up the win. You go up there on Saturday, you start out shooting it hot, and you guys never slowed down.
Yeah, we didn't. And you know, shooting it, the main message at halftime was we were 11 of 15 from three was obviously guys are probably not going to shoot it this well continuing for the whole game. And the one thing that we've sort of tended to do some this year, settle for threes. You know, and I was not thinking we would settle second half, but I was expecting us to shoot a lot because we had shot so many the first half. And second half we were just below 50%, but we only shot 8, so we were 3 of 8 in the second half. So 14 of 23 at 61%. I thought our guys did a great job of staying in the moment, not just relying on the three-point shot, mixing it up a little bit. And because of that, I think it's what really got us the win.
So we take a look at the numbers from that matchup. Campbellsville wins 94-92. A couple of Tiavion Mason free throws with a couple of seconds left to put Campbellsville over the top to win it by 2. T finishes with a career-high 35. He was nothing short of spectacular, 13 of 23 from the floor. He hit 5 three-point field goals, 5 rebounds. Richie Mitchell also had 5 three-pointers, 28 points, both of those gentlemen with career highs. Justin Tucker, 9 points, 13 rebounds, a career high. So you can't go on the road. You can't beat number one without some guys really stepping up their game. Those 3 gentlemen all did it for you, Coach. And I think one thing about T that I found really amusing, we haven't talked about this, he came down early in the first half and he let one ride from 6-8 feet deep. Hit it, comes down the next possession, tries it again, he's all over it, missed that one. He had the heat check. A lot of times that might be a situation where you yank a guy for a poor shot, but boy, he was feeling really good. I think he'd already hit 2 or 3 by that point.
He had, and I think at the time he was at least 3 for 3, if not 4 for 4 whenever, and it was funny because right before he made the previous one, the deep one, I told him, I said, you know, not bad shots, don't settle, because I do think T's one, he's better going at the rim. Whenever he makes some threes, obviously it makes it even tougher because now you got to respect that. And the very next possession, he bangs a 3, and I'm sort of the same way. You know, keep rolling, but don't settle. And he takes the next one, and as soon as he missed it, looked at me, and I knew it was a heat check, and we sort of let it ride. But I thought he did a good job as well during that first half, especially. You know, at one time I think he had 17 of our 25. It happened quick. He had 15 of 20 real quick, and guys normally don't look at you and say, Coach, you know. He looked at me and said, Coach, I need a break. He goes, I'm gassed. A lot of the adrenaline, you know, he had it from making shots. It finally started wearing off a little bit. And I thought that was a very vet move. A lot of guys wouldn't do that in a situation whenever you are in the zone like he was, but he knew if he stayed in there, it'd probably hurt our team a little bit. So we got him a quick break, and whenever he's ready to go, we got him back out there. So it was good to see as he's matured, him getting to that point.
A couple of key points in the game we want to touch base with Coach on here. In just a moment, we'll step away, take a timeout, we'll come back. We'll look at the end of the game there with Georgetown, the win for Campbellsville. We'll also look ahead to this weekend's matchup with the University of the Cumberland. So stay with us here on Inside CU Sports.
Keltner Contracting of Campbellsville is locally owned and operated with over 30 years of experience. They offer services across the Campbellsville-Taylor County area and surrounding counties. Keltner Contracting offers heating and air installation, electrical services, and more. They carry a number of Tempstar products for your home or office. For more information, call 270-403-5444 or visit keltnercontracting.com.
Kendon Young and Sarah Clark are natives of Taylor County. They have grown up in the community and have close ties to the city and the county. Both have fond memories spent from downtown Campbellsville to Green River Lake. They decided to continue their education in their hometown at Campbellsville University. Taylor County Bank proudly claims them as both valued customers and members of our community. Taylor County Bank, invested in Campbellsville University, invested in the future of our young people.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Thanks for staying with us. Our final segment here of Inside CU Sports this week. Matt Payton with you in the Campbellsville University Sports Network studios. The Tigers got the big win this past weekend over Georgetown, 94-92. And if you followed that game, you knew when the Tigers come out of the locker room at halftime, well, they went into the locker room with a 6-point lead. Came out with a 5-point lead, Coach. There was some, I guess for lack of a better term, clerical issues at the scorers table. We can say the Tigers did have 50 at halftime, even though they started the second half with just 49 points. And that's a situation you never want to find yourself in. And in a game to that magnitude, all that could have went wrong, right. The score as it was down the stretch, that could have went any number of ways. Thankfully, you guys were able to pull out that victory.
Yeah, obviously, if Claire's 3 had went in at the buzzer, I don't know how, as a coach, I could have reacted. You know, and you sit back and look at things happen. It was a tough one for us at that time. You know, it was a big game for Georgetown, but nowhere near the magnitude of game for us when you want to talk about certain implications. I mean, we're after Thursday, you could sort of sit there and you know, we're sort of dead to the water. And then Saturday, you're coming back because you wonder how your team's psyche is going to be, and you realize at halftime, hey, we're playing, we got a chance, and you get this win with the number one team, you sort of throw your name back in the hat. And so that was the biggest thing for us. You need every little bit you can get. So our guys handled it well. I thought for the most part our staff handled it well. It's something that probably year one or year two I would not have handled well. But I've learned you got to control what you can control, and unfortunately that's one thing we couldn't control. So we had to move on and play, and our guys stuck to it, and made bigger plays down the stretch than they did.
And one thing to mention, it wasn't necessarily an official issue, not the 3 guys on the court anyway. It was just a scores table mix-up, mishap, mess-up, however you want to look at it. But fortunately, it didn't play in. Coach mentioned the Clara 3, the last play. Coach, we walked through that real quick. You elect to put David Simmons on the ball. The first attempt Georgetown had, I think, was a 2.4. Tavion Mason nearly intercepts it. He does intercept it. He just couldn't keep his footing and tightrope the sideline. I think he tried to lead it back in bounds, hoping that the clock would run out. He just couldn't get enough on it. It went out of play. They have 1 second in the corner, right in the backcourt. You elect to put David Simmons there on the ball to make that pass a little tougher. Nico Clare's got a pretty good look out of the corner on that far side to end it.
He did, and you know, the first one, whenever T got the steal, we didn't have anybody on the ball, but they had to go the length of the floor, so we knew a longer pass was coming, so we decided to, you know, sort of let David be, you know, sort of like a defensive back and roam, and it was more T. T got a great read on it. He jumped the pass, got inside, and as you said, as he was falling out of bounds, he was trying to save it back into play because it could have saved it. There was nobody there. Time would have ran out. Didn't happen, so they get it a little bit, you know, 3/4 court, a little closer to half, And then we decided we didn't want them to have any clear-cut throw, and we didn't know if they would go for maybe more of a lob with Coffee or not. So on that one, we wanted to make the pass a little difficult. It's a little harder whenever you're on the side than you are on the baseline. So we thought, well, a player there plus the side throw makes it harder. So we thought we took away a lot of the court, and making one in the corner is a tougher spot. And Ron did a great job of chasing. Obviously, he couldn't get a steal, but whenever Nico caught it, Nico couldn't get a clean look. It was a tough look with Ron right there, grazed the front of the rim, but a very good job by our guys at the late game situation.
Yeah, Tigers pull out that 2-point victory. Things get no easier this coming weekend. The second team in the conference standings, Cumberland's a top 15 team nationally. As we sit here talking today, Coach, that's going to be a big one for you. You'll go back first time you'll see the Patriots at Randy Vernon Court. That'll be cool. You've been there a time or two over the Christmas break. You had some games there, but this will be a little different, playing your alma mater, your former head coach, Donnie Butcher, and different things. So a lot at stake this weekend. However, take all the emotion out of it. That's going to go, that's going to be there regardless, but you guys really need a win.
We do. I mean, and it's funny because me and Coach were just talking the other day, and we had some other things we were talking about, and at the end I joked and said, once we get out of this, I don't talk to you until after the game Saturday. He's been great for me, a guy that I can really rely on and talk to, but it's sort of like the Georgetown situation. It's a big game for them, but a much bigger game implications. If they win, they would probably secure up the 2 seed. Them and Thomas More are fighting 2-3 right now. But for us, I think if we win on Saturday, I'm not saying that we're in, but I think we truly throw our name in the hat then. We are right there right now in all reality after the win at Georgetown. But you beat another top 15 when the new poll comes out, top 12, top 10 team on the road. You're really helping your resume a lot. And I think going 500 in our league and having some big wins like we would have would go a long way. So understatement, big game on Saturday.
Yeah, the Georgetown Tigers, I'm pretty sure they've already locked up the regular season because they have the 2 head-to-heads over Cumberland, so the Patriots can't catch Georgetown. The Tigers of Campbellsville, you guys are at best, I think, the 5 seed. You can't pass Shawnee State. They have the 2 head-to-heads over you guys, and you talk about bubble team. You will be a bubble team regardless, but a win certainly puts you in a good spot. And I remember last year I was in Billings, Montana, watching the selection show, and you guys were the last at-large team announced, and on pins and needles, and to get there this year, it may be more of the same.
It is, and you know what, we're fighting because that's our goal every year. You say it, and it's true. You can get to Kansas City, anything can happen, and that's the ultimate goal year in and year out. And for us, what we're trying to build, we're wanting it to be bigger than that, but the last couple of years it's been to where it's come down that last week. And when you play in a league like ours, a lot of times it does, but our guys have hung in there. There have been a lot of adversity we've had to fight, illnesses, injuries, and just having, so many guys whenever we graduated 3 All-Americans. We've really had to find a new identity this year, and there's times, even late in the year, you feel like you have it, and then a game like Thomas More jumps up there, and then you get, worried, and you're going right back to work, and then a game like Saturday happens, and you feel a whole lot better about yourself. And we've had a really good week of practice so far. I'm really excited about where our guys are. They're focused. They understand what's at stake. And I think we'll be ready come Saturday.
Coach, best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Coach Brent Vernon and the Tigers take on the Patriots. One thing I want to mention before we do break away, we want to congratulate Tavion Mason. He was Conference Player of the Week this week, also NCCAA National Player of the Week. So a big weekend there for T, averaging about 23 points per game, close to a handful of rebounds, 50% from the floor. T doing most of that on Saturday, and a big upset win over Georgetown, the #1 ranked team in the country. So congratulations to him on those honors this past week. Tune in on Saturday. 88.7 The Tiger will have coverage of the Lady Tigers and Tigers as they travel to Williamsburg to end the regular season down at the O. Wayne Rollins Center, Randy Vernon Court there at the University of the Cumberlands. Coverage begins at 1:45. Tip-off for the Lady Tigers, 2 p.m. The Tigers at 4 p.m. Thanks to the head coach of Tiger Basketball, Brent Vernon, for joining us, as well as Ginger High Colvin, the head coach of Lady Tiger Basketball. We'll see you next time here on Inside CU Sports.